Previously on D&D Kinda.
The last known location of the physical seal that was formed 400 years ago. The dwarves of Ice Rim Mountain have it. Safe as it may be, I would feel more comfortable if it were here with us.
The magma explodes, and from it there is a giant flaming skull, and there is one leg that emerges from it, and then 2 legs, and then 3 and 4 and 8 massive legs emerge from this magma, and this massive skull leans down in front of you, Benedict, and it just screams. As this happens, the sky turns blood red as you guys begin to hear something very familiar to you, something you heard when the first seal was broken.
This is the evil that you spoke of.
Gwent walks back over to the table with these scrolls.
This paper, it goes on to tell the story of after the seal was created, it was taken to a church, the Church of Mishakal.
I've seen this church in visions.
As you're saying that, someone else walks into the room, and you turn around and Chrysalix is standing there. You must find this seal. If it is broken, Ball may not need the others broken to return.
Could it be that Topher has become the seal?
I saw where something had smashed through this church. I had always assumed all these years that it had been taken. But at this point, I can't rule out any possibility. I'm well, Phileas. It is good to see you. Is it true that this church harbors the first seal? It's been hiding here in plain sight all this time.
I don't think you understand the magnitude of this information that you know. You must not tell anyone of this.
Phileas, I'm on your side. I agree with you, but this power, you think it could be contained?
Chrysalix, for as long as we've been friends, you must trust me. Leave this be.
In the dead of the night, the door to the church opens, and Chrysalix slips in. And Chrysalix walks up onto the stage and rubs his hand over the glass. And then he shoots off of the glass, off of the pedestal and the podium, and flies across the room, and he is unconscious. He wakes up, and it's morning. There is a giant hole in the back of the church. The plate is gone. The seal has been taken.
So Hamilton leaves the, Bartholonude's house, and I knew that Chrysalix had been looking after me because of something that he felt responsible. He felt responsible for somebody's death, the death of the person that was supposed to be looking after me. And I knew that, but I didn't know what had happened and how Phileas had died. I didn't really even know Phileas's name until Chrysalix told us. And I had no idea that a seal was part of the reason that what had happened in my childhood and why he was watching out for me. I had no idea about that. I think
you're like digesting right now a lot, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, Topher's a little like he wants to kind of go after Hamilton to talk to him, but at the same time, he's, what had just happened with the fight that we had and Ball essentially revealing himself, finding out about Phileas, about the seal, and kind of understanding a little bit as to why Hamilton would have just left, but not really fully understanding that. But he wants more answers from Chrysalix now. And he knows that Chrysalix doesn't want to reveal everything to him. He doesn't really care if, his, in my mind, not maybe not being ready to take in all this information, but the fact that Chryslerix withheld this from everybody, knowing what mission we were really on, he wants to ask Chryslerix if there's anything else that he's withholding from us. Chryslerix, why would you withhold this information? And is there anything else? You know what path we're on. And I understand you think that I might not be ready to know, but you've taken this a little too far.
Topher, I understand you're upset, but I fail to see how that has any bearing on the situation. Where would you have been if you'd known everything? The seal is missing, and I don't know where it is. Phileas is dead, and that's on my hands, not yours. How does this information help you or help any of you find anything? The only thing it does is complicates things and makes you feel like you are responsible for something that is not your problem.
I think this is my problem. I was there. And if Bartholonude's theory about me being a seal or being part of it, maybe this plays into me not having my memory. You know, any information at this point is valuable, regardless of if it will help in the long run or not. We need all the information we can get.
So as you say that, Bartholonude kind of looks back over at Gwent. What's he currently doing?
He is still poring over some of these scrolls.
Masturbating. I know that's what you were going to say.
God, do you have read thoughts?
Topher's a seal. Topher's a... He's just in the back, just like, fuck. There's just jizz all over the scrolls. They're all stuck together.
There's tears coming out of my face.
You got me at the jizz. I was holding it back. You got me there.
Yeah, that's why you've got a kid.
Oh, man. I hate this day.
Oh, my God, I'm crying.
I love it.
Fucking crying.
I jizzed on the scrolls.
Jizz on the scrolls and jizz on the scrolls.
I just write in my scrolls every time you're next to me.
He's like, this is the only way to break the seals.
That's the only way.
No one will touch these scrolls if I jizz all over them.
So what's Gwent doing?
Gwent is standing at your desk. He's kind of tuned out of this conversation because he doesn't really have any... He can pretty well gauge that it has nothing to do with him. So he is still standing over in the corner, and he is just perusing through these scrolls. He, you could tell just by the way that he's standing, he has like his hand on like 2 or 3 different scrolls, and he keeps looking back and forth at these 2 or 3 scrolls that are sitting under his left hand, and then he's like perusing through another stack of papers, and he keeps reading what he's finding with his right hand and then looking back at his left hand, like spot checking, almost as if these 3, whatever he's looking at, they're like a point of reference for him.
So I'll walk over and kind of join him and just kind of pick up where I left off the night that everything changed. So I want to pick up the scroll that I was reading that night.
Okay. So the scroll that you were reading, it's not immediately known to you where it's at, obviously.
Yeah, it is. I have keen mind. I can recall anything from the last month extremely well.
Okay, well, you know the scroll is on the table, and you probably still wouldn't have any idea where exactly it's at, as these papers are being strewn through by Gwent. So you kind of shuffle through these papers, and you see the one that you were looking at, and you pick it up.
Okay, and I just start reading over it.
Okay, make an intelligence check for me.
Comes full circle.
The little symbol, is that a nat 20 or a crit fail?
That's a nat 20.
That's a nat 20.
Hey.
Wow, that is a polar opposite there.
Yeah.
Damn.
You've got
What's crit fail?
26 palm
One.
trees.
Oh, it's just a 1.
Yeah.
Okay, and that 20. That's a good roll.
So please tell us what you see this time.
They aren't fucking palm trees. They're actually pine trees.
Fuck!
Change the company name.
Gotta change everything.
Shit! Shit! Chop down the palm trees. So, Bartholonude, whenever you start to read over this scroll, I'm assuming you're reading it over mentally.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it.
So whenever you start reading over the scroll, you notice that the top portion of this scroll, it actually isn't in any language that you're familiar with in any way, shape, or form. And this is what you were reading that night, and you were trying to piece it together. And then at the bottom of the scroll that you hadn't quite got to yet, it actually goes, there's like a discernible break in the text, and then below that it has a discernible dragonborn information about harnessing and capturing spirits. And then it goes on, and at the bottom of that scroll you can see that it breaks into more text like what is above it. It is just more indiscernible language that you don't know.
Okay. So I kind of speak up, and I look over at Gwent, and I point toward the scroll, and I say, Gwent, do you have any idea what this would have to do with capturing spirits?
Are you referring to like the fight, or
I'm just kind of referring to the event that, like, this, everything that's happening. Like, our lives were pretty much normal up until recently, and there's been a significant change.
Oh, you just mean like everything?
This, yeah.
Okay. Gwent looks up from the scrolls that he's looking at, and he keeps his left hand firmly planted on these 2 or 3 that are on the table underneath his hand. And he kind of motions for you to like swing around so he can see what you're looking at.
When I do that, I kind of almost present it to him.
Okay. So he takes a look at it, and he sees what you're talking about harnessing spirits, and he does like a couple second look over of it, and keep in mind, he hasn't been involved in everything. So everything that you guys know, he's relatively unfamiliar with. And so he looks at it and says,
harnessing spirits, I'm not sure how that could be of use in this situation, or in relation to anything that I'm aware of.
And then he looks over it again, and he goes up higher, and then he starts to look over more of the text that's above that break in the text, and he sees the portion where it's like indiscernible language to you. And then he looks at you and he says, but this is a spell for releasing spirits. And then he looks back up at you.
Bartholonude is kind of lost in his thoughts at this. He's thinking about how old these scrolls are, and that he remembers from normal history that there was a point in time before this peace that Faerun has had. He knows that there's been countless wars and battles that have been fought by the gods, and many lives have been lost in their name. And he thinks about that a soul can kind of become a tool for a god. And he kind of feels like a pawn in a way. He just kind of relishes in that thought for a moment. And he looks up at Topher. And he kind of thinks about Topher's soul. And he thinks about how maybe a soul has a little bit to do with memory. And he kind of connects these dots, and he numbers his thoughts. And he looks up at Topher and he says, Topher, since you awoke, since you can remember, this may sound strange, have you ever tried to play the piano?
No.
What Chrysalik said, that you were playing the organ in this church. I'm wondering if muscle memory, if your fingers may move in ways that your mind could not control, it might tell us something that we can learn.
Music, the same as smells can jog a memory. That's not a bad idea.
So Bartholonude looks over at Benedict. What's he doing?
I walked out with Hammy.
Bartholonude looks to the door where Benedict and Hamilton had just exited. And he looks back at Gwent, and then he looks over at Chrysalix. And he looks at Topher. And he's kind of like, at this point in time, he's wondering what's next. You know, we just had this big fight. We knew it was Ball. It was almost like a seal broke. We saw everything rain from the sky like before. We have new information, but none of it seems actionable, and our party is now divided. So he looks up at Topher, and he kind of takes his hand and he places it on his shoulder. And he says, "Let's go." Then he motions to go outside.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of don't want to be around Chrysalix right now, honestly, as Topher. Like, he doesn't hate him, but he's really kind of
disappointed.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed that he didn't, he didn't tell us any of this information. I mean, that, and there's kind of like a tugging on the back of his mind after seeing this creature go through the city and the fires that that we saw in the distance, to go and help people. He's not concerned with the task at hand. He knows that Hamilton and Benedict had left, but I think a way for him to kind of cope with what's going on right now would be to go and help some people that may have been hurt with this creature going through the city.
Okay. So I'm going to leave that scene for a few minutes. Hamilton, so you had stormed out of the room. Where did you go and what were you doing?
I really didn't have anywhere in particular in mind. Just probably somewhere that has alcohol.
So you didn't just leave the room, you left the entirety of the scene. Like, you left Bartholonude's house and...
Yeah, I was just out, over it. Didn't want to deal with it anymore.
Okay. So you leave Bartholonude's house, and then as you are walking, you hear the door shutter behind you, probably about 15, 20 feet, and Benedict, I'm imagining you're chasing after him.
I'm not chasing. I walked out with him.
Oh, you just went with him. You're at his side?
He doesn't chase anybody.
Yeah, I chase no man.
He's too good for that.
So you're both walking at night down through the city, and as you're walking, you guys are seeing the streaks of this fire that Ball had left in his wake as he's sunk back into the ground. And some buildings are burning, and I would imagine Hamilton, probably almost like you, in the moment, you don't even want to think about that kind of stuff. It almost seems like you're just over all of it at the moment. And down the street a little ways is the Golden Barrel. And it is a bar. It's a very seedy place.
Perfect. It's just the kind of place I like to hang out.
So you approach this place, and do you go in?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you walk into the Golden Barrel, it's not like a swinging door like the Brandy's Main is. It's actually, you step down into like a stairwell in front of the building and actually goes underground.
Okay.
And when you guys start walking down the stairs, there is actually an 8 to 9 foot tall orc that is standing in front of the door. What do you do?
I just try to walk past him.
Now, he wasn't just standing like beside the door, he's standing in front of it. And you could still do that if you want to, But I wanted to present the vibe that he's like
Security.
He's a security person. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't let anyone.
Oh, no, I
in.
picked up on that.
Okay, so you're just gonna walk past him.
I'm going to try to.
Okay, so whenever you do that, he kind of like puts his hand out and leans over and puts his hand like on your chest and like stops you since you're just moving forward. What do you do?
I just stare at him. Just, irritated. Just kind of tap my foot.
Okay. So he looks down at you after a couple seconds, kind of waiting for you to say something. And he just says,
If you want into the golden barrel, it'll be 5 gold.
5 gold? Hold on.
I'm just gonna give the dude 10 gold. I'll cover both of our.
Well, hold on. Why exactly is it 5 gold to get into this piece of shit bar?
so he's still got his hand on your chest and he's kind of like just holding you back. And he's like,
We don't know the likes of you. You are not welcome here, so if you would like to get in, you will pay whatever I say you will pay.
Boy, I sure wish my spells worked.
Does he have like armor or anything on?
so he doesn't have armor, but he's just wearing normal clothes. He's got like a tattered like brownish white shirt on, and he's got a belt that has a sword, and on the other side of it it has like a morning star, and then he just has like normal pants, and he's got like metal like knight shoes on.
Great.
Ooh. So, I have the signet ring of an imaginary duke.
Okay.
So, I'm going to take out my signet ring and hold it up and then just not say anything. Just show it to him. Just let him look at it for a while. Drink it in.
All right. Now remember, this place is not a law-friendly establishment.
Sure, yeah.
In any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So, tell you what, make an intimidation check for me.
It's not at all what I'm going for, but okay.
What are you trying to accomplish?
I want to give him the idea that we like belong in this place. So I wanted to show him the ring to start a dialogue about it.
I don't know how that relates.
Because I'm going to pretend that we like raided this dude's caravan.
Oh,
stole all
okay,
his shit
okay.
and killed him.
Okay, so I thought like you had it on, like you were wearing the ring.
No, I just I keep it in my bag. So I took it out and showed it to him, and then I was just going to be like, "Oh, you don't recognize this ring? This is Sir Duke's-a-lot ring." And like,
Tell you what, I am going to
Dukes a lot.
I'm going to make an intelligence check to see if like if it's high, then he wouldn't give a shit even. But if it's low, it might be like, oh, okay, like he's, you know what I'm trying to, yeah. So, well, it doesn't. That's a 2. So, no matter what his modifier that I would need to make up would be, it wouldn't meet that. So he kind of like snatches it out of your hand and just kind of like lifts it up, and he looks at it, and he looks back at you and says,
How did you come of this?
we relieved its previous owner of it.
That's how the jizz got on the scrolls.
That was
He sucked off a duke, and that's basically how we got.
Oh, we're calling them dukes now.
weird.
Yes.
So he kind of looks down at you, and he gets like a grin on his face, and he kind of puts the ring back in your hand, and he goes,
I see. 5 gold for the both of you.
I hit a goddamn rattlesnake one time.
maybe I need to reword that. Essentially, he's saying half price.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
that's what
I
I
understand.
understood, yeah.
I'm just not wanting to pay anything to go into this place.
Well, he doesn't have to pay anything. I just want to go in. So I'm just going to give him 5 gold.
Okay. So you were just kind of watching this exchange and just got fed up with it?
Yeah, I was just like, this is fucking stupid. Here's 5 gold, so I flick it at him.
Okay. So he catches it and moves aside and like swings the door open. And when this place opens up, there is one person sitting at a barrel right inside the door. And there is like 2 or 3 seats behind a very, very, very small bar that there's one person, a tall man wearing an eye patch, standing behind. And there are no bottles, there are no there's nothing. It's just this one dude at the barrel and then one guy behind the bar. And they're just standing there. And the guy opens up the door and shoves you guys inside and then closes the door behind you. And now you guys are standing in this room.
Fuck yeah. We're about to get a bar fight.
Now, this room is probably all of about like 10 square feet. Super tiny. And so you guys kind of walk in and you're like, this is not a bar. And the door then swings back open, and then you see the tall orc reach in and put the 5 gold on the table. And the guy sitting at the barrel looks up at the guy behind the bar and kind of gives him like a head nod, and the guy moves over towards the bar, and there is behind the bar on the wall, there's like pictures of just like random people. There's one of like a pirate ship, and there's one of a pirate king, and there's one, just a lot of like pirate themed things. Yeah. So then he reaches up and he moves the middle picture frame over to the right, and the wall on the other side of the bar swings open, and there is a full of life bar behind the wall, kind of like a speakeasy.
Oh, cool.
So then he kind of just motions you guys to walk in.
Oh, nice. This is much better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We should still have a bar fight, but
we'll get to
instead.
That. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to Topher and Bartholonude and Gwent.
So Bartholonude had just put his hand on Topher's shoulder, and we kind of motioned to leave. And Topher and I head for the door.
So Gwent is still standing behind the desk, and he motions up to you, Bartholonude, and he doesn't realize that you're leaving, and he says, "Bartholonude, come here."
Bartholonude looks back at him and he says, "Bring the scroll with you. We are leaving."
So he doesn't grab the scroll. He says,
"Bartholonude, the scroll that you read that talks about harnessing and collecting the souls, and then one's for releasing them. There's another page to that. If you had only seen this page prior to attempting to read the other, the spell on this scroll tells of how to release souls that are tied in bondage. But in order for them to be freed, they can only go so far from the area they are freed from. And they must go back."
So I kind of walked toward him to look at what he was showing us.
"Bartholonude, that night, there was a creature in the sky. There were reports of other shifting creatures during the night. We even heard word of a dragon. But the point is if these creatures came from something, that something has to be here in Neverwinter."
What exactly are you saying?
"Bartholonude, this seal is in Neverwinter somewhere."
So Bartholonude, his eyes kind of dart left and right. He's kind of like recalling everything that he had seen down in the nobleman's corridors, where we went down into the dungeon. And I'm trying to recall if I could remember an object down there that stood out, that was significant. But I'm wondering if there's like some sort of inanimate object that might have looked like it was for decoration, but could have a seal binded to it.
Would you like to make an insight check?
Okay. What is that, Daniel?
Are you sure? It's a 4.
So I got a 6.
So when you attempt to recall your time in the Nobleman's Keep,
and then I picture tall palm trees.
You don't remember much of anything specific that stands out? You remember things like the frog statue and the bed and the knight's armors that are, and then when you go down in the basement, you just seem to recall like the rocky pillars, and you recall the ruby, but nothing really stands out to you.
The statues that were down there, the one they disintegrated, right? There was a demon statue and the angel statue, right? I think the demon statue fell apart or something.
Crumbled.
Like that.
That's where we found the ruby.
I could give you more information, but I need you to be involved in this conversation.
Well, I mean,
I'm imagining you probably heard it.
This is all going on in his mind. I was where I was picturing Topher being. I was because I was like ready to like leave and walk out, but I'm not going to go by myself. I was going to wait for Bartholonude. So I'm kind of just standing in the doorway. From the doorway, can I see out over the city, or is it
not? No. So the doorway in which you come into the room actually goes into like a stairwell that goes down. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was kind of standing there at the top of the stairs, outside of the door, kind of, waiting for Bartholonude.
So you weren't listening to the...
I wasn't, like, I knew that something was happening, like whenever he called Bartholonude back, but I wasn't really paying that close of attention because my mind's more like rolling through my mind of trying to remember things and then, what Cthlulu had told me and all that stuff and wanting to go and help people. So.
Okay.
So I really have this is more of like a technical question of D&D. My keen mind says one of its perks is you can accurately recall anything you have seen or heard within the past month. So how does that deal with like a insight or a recall?
So if you're looking, let's say you're looking for your holy symbol and you're trying to remember where you left it and you couldn't remember, that would work for that because it's something that you know of, but you're not attempting to recall, you're attempting to correlate right now. Something that you may have seen that could be something else. So that I don't think keen mind would really give you much in the way of that.
Okay.
I mean, do you call me back in or anything, or?
So Topher is not like right next to me. I'm wondering if Topher might see my disposition change when I get told this information.
Potentially, but I could also see it, this because it is important information. I could also see this being something like he might want to know this too, So but, I mean, that's up to you.
I do intend to tell him, but like my first thought is I look back up to Gwyn and I say, "What do you think if the seal were to be moved from Neverwinter? What would the impact of this be?"
I am no expert, Bartholonude, but I don't know if it would have any...
Give me your best guess.
I don't know if it would have any impact. The seal was formed far to the east, on the Damara Plains.
So, if these anomalies, these creatures, must be within proximity of the seal, we know that the seal is here in Neverwinter. If the seal were to move, would these creatures as well?
According to the scrolls, logic would dictate they must. However, I do not know that if the seal moves beyond the bounds of their physical presence, if they would be returned beyond the seal, or if they would be forced to move with it. The science is not exact here.
So, Bartholonude, he says, "Thank you for your help, Gwent. You have done more than what could have been asked of you." And Bartholonude turns around and kind of hastily walks over to the door, and him and Topher walk out. As we're walking outside, I tell Topher. So we're walking outside. Initially I'm kind of looking around for Hamilton and Benedict, and I don't see them immediately. So I just say, "Topher, we just discovered that the seal is in Neverwinter."
Do you know where? Have any idea where it should be?
No, we only confirmed this through the correlation that these creatures They only exist in proximity to the seal.
Do you think that in the Nobleman's Keep, where, that's where they're residing right now, as the nobleman, do you think that the seal would be hidden there?
That is my first guess as well. We should get the others. I think we have a mission.
So I think after, me and Bartholonude talk for a second, kind of brings me back home, kind of brings me back into what's going on right now. And I still want to go and help people that could have been hurt whenever this beast monster went through the city. But I'm kind of going to follow Bartholonude's lead, especially, we don't want to, one, we don't know where Hamilton and Benedict went. And two, we don't want to split up too far from the party. So, Bartholonude, so should we find Hamilton and Benedict and let them know what's going on and try to find the seal here in Neverwinter?
Indeed. I do not see them here.
I do not either.
I wonder where they went. So I use locate object.
I think that's only within 30 feet.
Describe or name an object that's familiar to you. You can sense the direction of the object's location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the object is in motion, you know the direction of its movement. The object that I'm wanting to detect the location of is the Rogaine Cloak of Glaucoma Awareness.
Nice.
So Bartholonude, you become aware of the direction in which Hamilton and Benedict were traveling, and it is to the right.
Okay. What direction is north?
It's in between east and west.
In relation to what way you're facing?
In relation to what direction Hamilton is.
Right.
Okay.
West.
West.
So I kind of I get that sense that I know what direction Hamilton's in. So I say to Topher, I have detected where I believe they are. They are just down the street here to the east.
No.
No, they traveled to the north.
Yeah, he said
They went to your right.
They're to the right, and north is to the right.
Okay. Then I go in that direction, and as I do, I say, Topher, I detect them this way.
I follow.
So while you guys are walking down this dirt street, it is late at night, and whenever you guys are walking, are you guys talking or are you guys just moving?
Yeah, as we're walking down the street, I'm just kind of casually talking with Topher, as I'm looking around for signs of Hamilton and Benedict. I just say, I can't believe the seal is here. It's possible we've already been around it. It's possible we passed it in the Nobleman's Keep.
It makes perfect sense that it would be here, considering this is where these creatures are, guarding it.
Something about the wooden door that wasn't really wood.
Maybe that was a seal.
Shit!
We went in there and Hamilton Eldridge blasted the door, and nothing happened. We even threw a fiery stick at it. I've always thought about that door. I really think that once we find these two, we should tell them of this, and while we still have some nighttime left, we should get to the Nobleman's Keep.
I'm not sure if they'll willingly come with us right now, given what just happened and how they left. But I do think that we need to find them and tell them, and maybe they will.
We can only try.
So as you guys are walking, there is an older man that passes you guys, and he turns around, and he's cloaked, and he turns around and it says,
Excuse me, kind sirs.
If you're looking for Benedict, he went that way. And points. And then smiles and keeps walking.
Excuse me, sir?
And he just kind of turns around and...
Did he point in the direction that I detect them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How do you know Benedict?
So he turns away from you and starts walking faster.
I don't think so, big boy.
He tucks between...
Vanish!
No, he tucks between two buildings, like just very feebly, and he moves out of sight.
I'm going to follow him.
Okay. So make I would say an athletics check.
18.
So you take off running, and you sprint around the corner, and as you round the corner, you do not see any person standing there. You see a hawk fly off.
You motherfucker. I'll watch it. So I know what it's obviously a druid, and so obviously I'm not going to pretend like he might be around the next corner. I'd turn back around and go back to Bartholonude and tell him that man was a druid. He flew away as a hawk.
Did you recognize him?
I did not.
So I kind of say, well, that was really strange. And then I shrug my shoulders and I look at Topher, and then I look toward the direction that he pointed and the direction that I feel that they are. And I just proceed walking toward them.
I skip.
We hold hands. Running with an altar boy down the street. It's midnight, gonna rub his feet.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode of D&D Kinda. I am Michael. I'm your DM. You know my terrible, awful voice. I wanted to tell you about a few things before we jump back into the episode. We are out there on all forms of social media. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram, and we are actually on Discord as well. If you want to join the Discord, hit us up on any of our social medias and let us know. Send you an invite. You can get in there and talk about theories. We post new content that's coming. We post new accessories that we have in. And every episode that comes out, there's an episode discussion panel. You can join in and talk to all the other listeners of the show, see how they feel about all the happenings that are going on within the show. We also have a website, 13palmtrees.com/DND Kinda. You can keep up with the latest episodes, what new merch we have in, and if you like our show and you want to support the show, we have merch on our website as well on the online store. We got t-shirts, we have accessories, we have metal SkullSplitter dice, all for sale for cheaper than what you can get on SkullSplitter's website. So feel free to check all that out. We'd love to hear from you guys, get some interaction, comments, hear what you guys think about the show, and opportunities for improvement, anything like that. So now we will roll into a couple words from our sponsors, and we will catch you back in the episode afterwards. All right, so Bartholonude and Topher, you guys near where you sense this, the Rogaine Cloak of Glaucoma awareness is, and you notice that it is down a set of stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs is a very, very tall orc. Now I'm going to go back to Benedict and Hamilton.
All right, what are we doing?
I mean, I'm going up to the bar to get a drink.
I'm going to punch the closest guy to me.
Just kicking things off right now.
Aren't you at like a quarter of your health?
I'm at a little under half. All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off and go to the bar. Get me a whiskey.
All right.
Can I make a perception check to see if anybody's like eyeing me the wrong way?
Yes, everyone is eyeing you the wrong way.
All right, perception.
But also everyone's other eye is eyeing you the right way.
That's a nat 20 for perception check. What else do I see? What do your elf eyes see?
Your third eye opens, and they are all lizard people.
Tripping. Fucking vibing.
I look over, and he's just got his ass on the bar with his butthole pulled out.
My third eye.
There's actually, so whenever you...
It's got Bluetooth.
So you had actually rolled a nat 20?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So you are standing there seeing what you can see. And with this amazing perception check, there's actually like a blinding white light.
Oh, yeah?
And whenever you are looking around this bar, you see everyone. No one seems to be noticing you all because this place has like really good security and they only let people in who they want to let in. So whenever someone new walks in the door, they don't really pay much attention to it.
Yeah, everything's...
But what's interesting with this blinding white light with perception so well, it's almost like it's casting like a see-through veil on everything, and beyond the walls to your right and to your left and all around you, you actually see like a black cloth that you're standing on, and then you see 4 massive giants sitting at the sides of this cloth, and they're holding dice discussing your future.
Oh, shit.
Whoa, fourth wall broken.
That's bad.
Can we get to the end? Get to the end. I can't handle it. Hold on. Can I make a perception check to see which one of them's chairs is broken?
Which one eats the most Pop-Tarts?
All right, so actually what you see with the nat 20,
Okay.
there are a multitude of people in here, and what I had said earlier still stands.
The white light?
No.
Okay.
No one seems to be paying any attention to you guys. The bar security here is fantastic. They don't pay any mind to new people that walk in and out. There are probably about 30 to 40 tables in here. This place is huge, and it is packed to the brim. And everyone that's in here, just a ragtag group of people, all races, all different backgrounds. There's some...
It's like the Thieves Guild.
Exactly. It's just a room of like sketchy ass people.
I'm cool with that. Ass people, anyway.
So
show me your cheeks.
There are 2 bartenders at this bar because it is large.
Yeah, it's busy.
And so you guys wanted to go get a drink?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going.
Do you want to grab a table, or you do notice that there is someone that's like shuttling around and taking orders? Like at the tables, or do you want to sit at the bar?
I want to sit at the bar.
I want to sit at the bar, yeah.
Okay, so immediately as you guys walk in, the bar is to the left, and it kind of wraps around the back portion.
Could I make a perception check real quick?
No. The bar is down the left side of the wall, and it circles back around as the end of the room opens up into a giant square. And it kind of goes around, and that's where people can enter into the bar. You can't see that far over just because it kind of wraps around out of sight. But there are no immediate seats for you guys to sit at the bar until all the way back around the other side. So do you guys head that way?
Yeah, I just want to sit at the bar. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gonna sit at the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys circle back around and you sit down at the bar and you jump up there, and there, like I said, there are 2 bartenders that are pretty busy working, and they're running in and out, shuffling drinks out and about. So they're not currently paying much mind to you all.
I set 10 gold pieces on the bar.
Okay, so that would be enough to catch the bartender's attention. So whenever they swing around, the bartender is a tall tiefling woman. Absolutely gorgeous. Flowing black hair, just like bright, shining yellow eyes, and looks just scary, but also just gorgeous. Yeah. She's wearing a cut-off top. Her breasts are just very supple.
Just going to go ahead and make that 15 gold pieces. 15 gold pieces.
She's dressed very scantily. She's out to make money. And obviously the 10 gold pieces on the bar are enough to catch her attention, and she just kind of leans over and like in a very seductive way. And this, like I said, this is a seedy place. She'd probably fuck you for 5 gold.
It's gonna be more seed.
So it's gonna get pretty fucking weird.
Benedict's about to make it a little bit more seedy.
Gross. Gross. All right. So she leans over very seductively, and she, again, puts her hand like over top of her gold, and she says,
What can I get for you?
I'm trying to see the whole titty. I'll have a glass of your finest whiskey.
So she nods and turns to, actually, she doesn't turn to Hamilton. She just she keeps her eye on you.
Yeah.
And she says, and she like turns her head slightly and she's like,
And for your friend?
You want some whiskey, bro?
Actually, I would like some strong gin in a bowl.
You heard, you heard the man. Strong gin in a bowl. This is normal. we're just please get it.
So the look of seduction is all but poured off of her face, and she's just trying to like. She doesn't take all the 10 gold. She like scoops 3 of the pieces of gold off the table and walks away.
That's my tip, bitch. Here, take it. Come back.
She'll be back. Don't worry. So she just kind of walks off.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna pull her back outside to the other 2 since nothing's really happening in here.
We didn't really get anything done.
Bartholonude, you are standing at the top of the stairs looking down at this orc. What do you do?
I approach the orc and I say, "May we enter?"
So he kind of just gives you like a look up and down. He sees your attire and he's conflicted. Because, again, knowing the type of establishment this is, I would say it'd be relatively easy for him to pick out that you're a paladin. However, you're a black dragon, and they're inherently evil. So he's kind of having trouble gauging what's going on. Now, Topher, are you within sight as well?
Yeah, I'm right next to him. I was going to ask the dude a question.
Okay. I would also say that he can kind of see Topher, and your shield's probably on your back, so he probably can't see the symbol of Mishkal. So I would say the fact that you're a black dragon, I think that would kind of overpower the fact that he wouldn't be able to overly. He might have his suspicions that you're a paladin, but the fact that you're a black dragon he'd probably be like, well, I don't know about that, So after he struggles with this for just like a moment, he looks at you and says,
10 gold for you and your friend to enter.
Is this a membership fee or an orc fee?
It is a fee you will pay if you wish to enter this bar.
Excuse me, sir. Did you see a dwarf and a gnome come in here recently?
I haven't seen anyone.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe you. We're looking for these 2. They're in danger. We need to find them quickly.
Then I recommend you continue your search elsewhere.
I don't think so. They're here. I know they're here. And we need to speak with them.
If you think they're here, then you can come in and check for 10 gold.
Bartholonude looks at this orc. He looks at him up and down. What do I see?
Baloney nipples. Pierced. With a green buck tooth. It smells.
Yes. You see this. He does not have baloney nipples.
Sure does.
He might. You never know. He's wearing a shirt.
Oh, fuck. What if he's just wearing one of those like shirts with the nipples cut out of him?
So he's wearing. He's got like a black ponytail that's just like that's the only hair that he has. It's a black ponytail coming off the back of his head, and it's kind of draped down the back and to the left of his head. He is, like I said, he's every bit of 8 feet tall, which isn't that much taller than you, but he's still taller. Wide, muscular orc. And he has just like big tusks coming up out of both sides of his mouth. And he's got, like I said, he's got like a tattered white/brown shirt on. He's got pants on, and he's wearing a belt that has a morning star on one side of it. And then he also has his knight's pants, like knight's shoes on, like metal shoes. and he is just standing firm in front of this door.
So Bartholonude sees him and goes, Then he turns around and walks back up the stairs.
Okay.
I'm going to cast command on him.
Yes.
What do I have to do to beat that?
I have to beat a wisdom saving throw. Or make a wisdom saving throw.
All right, give me 1 second. This guy's not all that wise, so he rolled a 12.
Yeah, that doesn't beat it.
Okay. So I am now under your command.
I want to make him give me the keys and leave. If he's got the keys. Excuse me, I'm going to need to see the keys if you have them, and I want you to go home.
So there are no keys.
Okay, well, that's fine. If he doesn't have them, I'll just, just in case. The door is locked, but...
Okay. So he just kind of turns around and walks up the stairs and leaves.
Bartholonude, let's go.
And I see the guy walk past me, and where does he go?
He just walks up the stairs and just walks into the darkness like he's just gone. He went home.
Okay. So I look down at Topher and I kind of squint my eyes at him. And then I'm like, okay, I know what happened. And then I go back down the stairs and we enter the bar.
Okay, so when you guys walk into this room, there is a barrel with someone sitting at it. And then behind the bar, there is this very tiny room. And there is a man with an eye patch, and he is standing there just staring at you. And this other person is sitting at the barrel staring at you. And they make no movements, or they just kind of sit there and wait.
I kind of look around, not what I was expecting whenever I walked in here. Did gnome and a dwarf were looking for them. And we thought this was a bar. We thought they might have come in here.
So the person at the barrel just stands up and he swings the door open and he sees that there's no one there. And then the person behind the bar sees that as well. And he hits the wall 2 or 3 times. And the door to the actual bar swings open and there's 3 people that pour through with massive swords. And he pulls a sword out from behind the bar and he leaps the bar, and the person beside the barrel pulls out a sword as well, and they start to walk up on you guys.
We're not here to fight. We're just looking for somebody. We saw the sign for the golden barrel. We thought that...
Is this not a public establishment?
Where is the bouncer that was out front?
What bouncer?
Make a deception check for me.
I look over at Topher and kind of squint, and then I look back over at these guys.
It's a 13.
I'll contest it with intelligence. I got a 15.
I
Tell you
run.
what.
I
Tell you
run.
what, roll a D. roll a D4, Bartholonude, and you can add it to his. Since you're there, and you're actually your demeanor is I would say adding to his story. So I would say you can roll a D4 and add it.
I got a 1.
All right, still does not beat.
Ouch!
All right, so these guys are not buying your guys' story, and the bouncer's gone, and you guys walk in, and if you recall from where Benedict was, they wait until the bouncer comes in and gives the go-ahead.
I was going to say something.
Oh, yeah.
Glad I didn't know.
Okay. So he was there. He said he had to take a shit real quick, but he'll be right back.
All right, so yeah, these guys are just not buying your story whatsoever.
I'm slowly backing out of the bar.
So you walk out, you walk back out the door?
I'm kind of backing away. I'm not going to fight these. I mean, I could.
So
I'm not going to start a bar fight to get these two back. I don't care about them that much.
Wow.
I'm not that type of person to just start a fight just because.
Did you hear what he said about us?
He doesn't care about us that much.
So as he backs out, I kind of
step up.
I step up.
Yeah, my man.
And how many are there again?
5
so
cacti.
The one that's closest to me. How far is he?
I mean, probably within a foot of you, maybe 1 or 2 feet.
Okay.
They have you kind of surrounded in a semicircle because the guy you guys kind of walked in and there's a guy sitting right inside the door at a barrel.
Okay.
And so he's probably to your left, and then they're kind of in a semicircle in front of you and approaching you.
So the one that's closest to me, I assume I'm taller than him, so I look down at him. And then I look up at the others. And I gaze them over very slowly. And I look back down at the one in front of me and I say, "You do not want to mess with us." And as I say that, I cast Crown of Madness on him. One humanoid of my choice that I can see within range must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by me for the duration. While the target is charmed in this way, a twisted, jagged crown of iron appears above its head, and madness glows in its eyes. The charmed target must use its action before moving, and you have to have a wisdom saving throw.
That's kind of fucked up, man.
So what I'm going for here is the one that's closest to me. I would like to this crown of madness. It charms him, and then he just like gets really madness in his eyes. He like he's being overtaken by something, and see if that hits.
Okay, give me 1 second. These guys aren't all that wise, so I wouldn't imagine it's... Well, he has a +0 to wisdom, but he did roll a 17.
That actually does beat it.
It does beat it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did Hamilton and I notice these guys with the big swords walk out of the bar since we're in here?
So, Benedict, I would actually have to say that you guys wouldn't be able to see it, only because I specifically said that you couldn't see the end of the bar and you had to walk all the way around to get to it. Now, I will say this. I would say that since you did have that nat 20, you would notice there is a modicum of commotion in your peripherals.
Yeah.
Around. You can't see
I
exactly
assume
what's
if
going on.
four big dudes with swords just walk out of a goddamn door, people would stop and notice that.
Yeah.
And
but then again, this is a really seedy ass place, so
Yeah.
maybe it's not all that uncommon. You don't know. So
either way, we're warriors with curiosity.
all right, so you cast this. I would say that it's it probably has no effect at all. They don't realize that you just cast something at them. So tell you what, Bartholonude, make an intimidation check for me. Because you are taller than all of these people.
Yeah, you're big,
and you're a big dragonborn.
16.
Okay, so I would say that the one that's standing right next to you, the look of badass kind of flows off his face.
Yeah,
and he gets kind of, I wouldn't say scared, but you could tell he's antsy.
So after I say that, and I know that my spell did not cast, I say, "Let us enter. There will be no blood spilt, and then we will leave."
So the person that jumped over from behind the small bar in this room kind of has his scimitar out, and he kind of points it at you, and he's walking towards you, and he's like, "Not until you tell me what happened to our bouncer."
I sent him home.
So he still has a sword pointed at Bartholonude, and he looks over at you, and you're halfway out the door still.
Well, I turned once I saw Bartholonude actually not backing down. I'd say Topher came back in and stepped in between Bartholonude and this guy that's pointing a sword at him, and then said that.
Okay. He looks at you and says, "What mean you sent him home?"
I told him to go home, and he went home. I made him leave.
So he kind of gives you a once over. He says, "What kind of spell did you put on my bouncer?"
There's no magic here.
This guy doesn't believe a fucking word of what is going on. There, he's
That's
honestly,
fine.
He's getting kind of pissed off.
That's fine.
So, at this point, no amount of money is going to convince these guys to let you in. And he yells, and he says, "It's time for you all to go." And all of these people start to crowd up on you guys. And they all have their swords drawn, and even the one that was really skittish next to Bartholonude, he's standing up and herding you guys towards the door with the swords.
I cast Spirit Guardians in the room.
All right.
I call forth spirits to protect me. They flit around you in a distance of 15 feet for the duration. When you cast a spell, you can designate any number of creatures you can see to be unaffected by it. An effective creature's speed is halved in the area. And when the creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn here, you must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d8 radiant damage.
Damn. So all these guys have to make take.
If we go into like initiative order, yes.
Okay. So you're not moving?
No.
You guys aren't leaving?
Nope.
No. And I cast darkness. Do these spirit guardians, are they visible?
Well, we'll be able to see them.
Okay. I was just trying to, visualize how this is going down. And I'm thinking that if the enemies see your spirit guardians and then everything goes black, that might leave them an impression.
Yeah.
I'm basically just trying to intimidate them more.
Super spooky.
So what I was saying, Michael, was that he's going to cast his spectral guardians, and then that's going to make these guardians like wisp around the room. And as they start to wisp around, I cast darkness, and I can choose a point, and magical darkness spreads from the point that I choose in a 15-foot radius sphere for the duration. The duration is up to 10 minutes, but I have to concentrate on it. So if I break my concentration, the darkness goes away. So I concentrate on the main dude who's in front of us. I target his eye patch, and I cast darkness on his eye patch.
Okay. So this is the scene. This guy, like I said, is walking up on you, Bartholonude, and he raises his hand to hit you. Topher casts spiritual guardians at this moment, and when his hand starts to come down, it is pitch black in this room. And he starts to freak out, and then he's standing there, and they're all just kind of curious what happens, and then to his left, in front of him, beside him, and behind him, which you can't see, there are faint glowing lights, and these ghosts and spirits come to life in the middle of this room, and this guy screams, and all the people in this room they're terrified, and they just bolt out of this room. They run up the stairs, and they're out of here.
Cool.
And now you guys are standing in this room, and there is no one in here.
I'm going to keep the spiritual guardians there.
Okay.
Because I don't want...
It's like complete blackness right now. So do we hear them like running away?
I feel like that with these spiritual...
I think you'd be able to hear the door swing open, and you'd hear them yelling and like trying to get out of here.
Okay.
Like they're saying things like, "There's demons here, magic," and like freaking out.
I feel like the spiritual guardians would have cast a little bit of light in that darkness, though. Like they,
Well, that's how they were able to see them. They're
yeah.
like they emanate a small glow, faint light.
Yeah.
And then, like once like we hear them go out, Bartholonude he's still concentrating on the eye patch. So like that darkness is actually just following them.
Yep.
And once they're like up and out of the way, like the darkness moves out of our area and we can see again. Is there anyone left?
Nope.
Okay.
You guys are in this room alone.
So I look over at Topher and I nod, and I'm just still concentrating on darkness.
Okay.
On that eye patch.
All right. I go into the bar and trying to find these two.
Okay. So there's not a door into the bar that you can see, but you saw where people came in, so you know that it's there. So whenever you push on that wall, it opens.
Okay.
And,
I thought it was still open. Okay.
No, it swung open and closed.
Okay.
Now, when you walk in, there's a lot of people in here. You don't immediately see Benedict or Hamilton, but I'm assuming that you probably can't. If you were still focused, if you cast another spell.
No, I'm actually still focused on the eye patch, but I can only do that until he's 60 feet away. So I kind of walk back to the door, knowing that my range is diminishing and I'm losing concentration on where the object is. And as I walk toward the door, I just close the door and lock it.
Okay. So you guys walk in here. No one's really noticed what's going on because it's very loud in this room. So what do you guys do?
I lose my concentration on the artifact. I turn around and see Topher about to enter the door, and I join him.
Okay.
So you're both in this bar room.
Yeah, I'm looking around for these two
Did the door swing?
fucking ingrates.
Like when we were outside, did it swing in or did it swing out? Was it a pull or a push from the outside?
There's no sticker on it.
It opens inward toward.
Okay.
It swings backwards into the bar room.
I closed the door and I locked it, and then I just look around for like a chair or something that I can prop up against it.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of chairs.
This is a fire hazard.
I just throw something in front of it, like just to try to barricade it a little bit. And then
Anybody know
join
OSHA's number?
I join Topher, and we walk into the bar.
Fire marshal's gonna be pissed.
When we walk into this bar, the first thing I look for is like another door or another what looks like another exit.
There's not one that is readily apparent, but if you'd like to make a perception check, you can.
Okay, and I perceive that I walk into this place, and it, like you said, it's kind of crowded. But me being above average height, I can see over most heads. That's an 18.
So in the back of the bar, you do see that there is a door, but you're not sure what it is. It could be a restroom, or it could be a stock room. It could be something. But
Okay. That's the only other door I see.
That's the only door you can see at the moment. Yep.
I kind of look for that door, and then I just start eyeing for Benedict and Topher.
All right, have you moved into the bar yet, or is she just standing at the...
We moved in a little bit just to kind of see around us.
Okay.
I just picture us walking together, and as we're walking, I'm just eyeing those things.
Okay, I would, after a few seconds of walking in, you spot Benedict and Hamilton sitting at the far end of the bar as it kind of branches an L in an L pattern at the end of the L, and they are sitting there, and as you spot them, you see a very attractive tiefling woman bring a drink over and sit it in front of Benedict and a bowl of something, and she sits it in front of Hamilton.
So I walk over to them.
As do I.
And with like urgency, I say, Hamilton, Benedict, we have learned something extremely important. We must investigate immediately.
And I'm kind of startled whenever I hear him behind me. I'm just like, what the fuck?
And then I kind of lean in, and under my breath I say, we did not acquire authorization to enter this facility. It is another reason we must leave.
You fucked up, didn't you? Oh, great.
Let's just say that they were intimidated in unique ways.
This was my dream. God damn it.
Bring it with you.
You're a genius. I don't know if you can bring yours. Are we going with him?
Excuse me, bartender.
Can
I
you put
get
this in
a
a to-go
to-go bowl?
container?
Can I get a to-go bowl? No, Hamilton just sighs and takes a nice long pull off of his bowl of gin and sets it down and scoots it, across the bar, and then hops down off of his seat.
I chug my whole glass of whiskey, the entire glass, and I leave the rest of the money on the table for her, and a little napkin with my full name on it and penis size, which is unimpressive, but she needs to know.
Oh my gosh.
The penis size is actually like you draw like how big it is.
Yeah.
But it's not even as long as your name.
He actually outlined his fucking penis.
Yeah, I outlined it.
Oh my gosh.
So you guys get ready to get up and follow me, and I look over at the bartender, and I like still with my under the breath speech, I say, well, that is a sight for sore eyes.
She sees you, and then
Your eyes hurt.
It's a metaphor, you jackwagon.
She sees you and says, "Is it true what they say about black dragons?"
That's fucked.
Oh, God.
So we go to leave.
Yep. Yeah, I guess we're leaving.
And we're walking like toward the staircase, and we go back into like that one room where it's now vacant.
The spiritual guardians are still there.
Yeah, and we kind of stand in the middle of the spiritual guardians, and this is where Bartholonude takes the opportunity to tell Hamilton and Benedict that Gwent discovered that the seal is in Neverwinter, Gwent has discovered that the seal is in Neverwinter. Where do you think it is?
I need Benedict and Hamilton to make insight checks.
18.
That's a 23.
Okay, so both of you, whenever he says that the seal is a Neverwinter, and that's what Gwent had said, both of you recall something that was told to you that was a direct contradiction to this. Lokar specifically told you guys that this seal was located in the Ice Rim Mountains, and that was the last place it had been seen.
He also discovered that the creatures we saw that night, he read as a matter of science that they can only exist near a seal.
But Lokar told us that the seal was in the Ice Rim Mountains.
Do you think it was the same seal? Is there more than one?
There are multiple seals.
What I mean is, do you think he spoke of the same seal that is here in Neverwinter? Could there not also be one in the Ice Rim Mountains?
It would seem to me that if these creatures had to be close by the seal, that there's another one in the Ice Rim Mountains, but there also may be one hidden here in Neverwinter.
Well, we know for sure from these scrolls that there is one here. And if it is true that these creatures can only exist near these seals, then we must find it. Where do you think it would be within Neverwinter?
Well, that's kind of obvious, I think.
I agree. Okay, so a part of my keen mind, one of the perks to keen mind is that you always know the number of hours left before the next sunrise or sunset. So how many hours are left until sunrise?
Probably like 2 or 3.
Oh, shit.
Jesus, it's late.
It's like 3 a.m. I must be lonely. I'll be lonely.
So we know what we must do. The question is do we look somewhere we've already been, or do we look for somewhere new?
I think that since we know that there's possibly a seal here in Neverwinter, and that it's been here and hasn't been broken, that maybe we should go to the Ice Rim Mountains.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
And then make our way back here.
I agree.
Now, geography-wise,
It's
in
north.
Faerun,
North as fuck, isn't it?
it's north. It is north, but it's like almost on the other side of Faerun. Like it is probably like a good 2,000 or 3,000 mile trek.
We're
like
going
it is
on a
a
fucking
long
adventure then.
journey.
So, we kind of have a gist of like how far that is, don't we? We kind of know.
Yeah, I would say that you guys are all familiar enough with the layout of Faerun to be able to tell it's a long fucking way.
So, as you guys suggest this, Bartholonude says, I agree. We should go there. How do you suppose we get there?
Well, we do have a druid.
And you guys aren't all riding on my back. That's just...
Oh. One by one, sir.
Well, yeah, I guess. But if we were to leave Neverwinter for that amount of time, a lot of shit could happen.
Speaking of druids, Benedict, there was an old man outside that knew you. He's an old man, and whenever I chased him down this alley, he flew away. He turned into a hawk and flew away.
I don't know. I'm pretty popular in the druid world. It's probably some fucking fanboy.
I turn around and walk away from Benedict.
That is concerning.
He seemed to know you. I mean, he knew you by name and knew where you were. Well, which way you went, anyway. I didn't know if he was just an old man. I didn't get a great look at him. But he knows where you are, and he knows where all of us are. I don't know if he knows anything else about what we're doing, but it is a little concerning.
Well, he'll find us, I suppose. We'll deal with it accordingly when he shows up again. Do you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
All right. Now...
I fist bump.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So are we going to the mountains, or should we stay here?
If we decide to go to the mountains, we need provisions. We need to go and maybe get a wagon, a cart, something.
Have you guys ever been skiing before?
Just between two men.
Fuck.
Gwent's in the background. Like,
yes. Yeah, but for real, if you think about it, if we leave Neverwinter and there is a seal here, then we're kind of fucked. Unless we just broke the seal from defeating.
No, I don't think the seal was broken. If a seal was here, and if it might have been broken whenever Bartholonude read that scroll. And if things like this keep happening and manifesting themselves, that's the scroll states that they're to do that they have to be around the seal.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that the seal would be here, but unbroken.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like, if we're already here and there's a seal here, I think that we should search as much as we can here before we go fucking across the country and leave Neverwinter open for possible fuckery.
I mean, that's also a really good point. I mean, we know where two potential seals are, and should we stay here and try to find this one? But I mean, we're protecting the seal. I mean, even if we find it, we'll just know where it's at. But we could also potentially, if the physical seal is here in Neverwinter, we could potentially lead something evil to it. If we find it, if they don't know where it's at. Actually, if it's a physical seal and they don't know where it's at, we should just leave it.
I feel like they do know where it's at, though, because those things took over, like, guards, like people of importance, like fucking noblemen.
Well,
we also don't know
those are shapeshifters. They didn't take them over.
Well, yeah, I mean, they took their roles. Yeah.
We don't know how much of the city has been taken over by them.
Yeah, and they might be doing that to try to find the seal because they know that they need to break that seal. So that leads me to believe that they haven't actually found it yet, since they're all here and not. I mean, there's a possibility that there's the same kind of stuff going on over in the Ice Rim Mountains. But to me, it would. I feel like they're manifesting here because one, they've got to be close to it. Two, they're trying to find it.
Yeah, so
and posing as the most important person in the city, to where he's got free reign over everything to try to find this thing. They're probably searching for it. That's why they're here.
Another point I believe worth mentioning: there has to be a method that evil moves. Maybe if we look for the seal here in Neverwinter, we might also be able to find how they're able to travel among Faerun. There has to be some evil entity, some group who's looking for these seals. And although we do not know who they are or what their true agenda is, we can assume that they have tools for traveling.
I really feel as though we should look here before we go to the Ice Rim Mountains.
Well, let's take a vote. If we stay here, we can look for it here. If not, we need to get provisions in the morning for the journey. So what does everyone think that we should do?
I vote stay here, yeah.
I think we should stay for one day.
Agreed.
I think we should at least give ourselves tomorrow night. Like, we should get into the keep, like, late tomorrow night.
We could go in the back way where we came out once, when we saw the nobleman die.
The only problem is that in the sewers there was that big drop. I don't think we have a way of getting back up that part.
We have rope.
I've leveled up since then, so I can turn into stuff.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
That
we
way
would have a better chance of not being seen.
And we don't have to wait till nightfall to do so. We can go there, we can make camp where we made camp last time, rest, and then continue on.
Yes, rest is important.
I agree. Do you want to make for camp now?
Yes, please.
We could either make for camp. We could either head there now, or we could get.
Let's do it now.
We could get a spot to sleep for tonight.
Both.
Or we can make our way there. If you guys want to sleep in a comfortable bed for an evening.
If you would like, we were only a moment from my home. We can go there and rest, wake up late afternoon, and prepare for the journey and then make camp before nightfall.
All right, let's go to Bartholonude's and fucking sleep. Get our shit back, yeah?
Yeah. So on the way back to Bartholonude's, I want to talk to Hamilton because I feel like there's a little bit of tension there between what had happened, and I kind of want to ask him why he left.
Yeah, so you guys skirt back out to Bartholonude's.
So Hamilton, when you left Bartholonude's earlier, you seemed upset. You seemed a little off. What's going on?
I'm just a little bit frustrated with it all, I think. The loss of my powers and the struggle for us to really find any momentum going in any direction. And then Chrysalix revealing to us that all of this information that he had, he kept to himself throughout this whole time. And I'm sure that he had good intentions behind that, but it isn't his decision whether or not that information is relevant to us.
I'm upset with him as well. I wish that I knew the relevance of my childhood to our current task, because I knew of the church and I knew that Chrysalix looked after me because his friend had died and he thought that it was on him, but I had no idea that it had to do with the seal. And I wish that I would have known that so I could have said something, but at the point that I found out the small pieces of my childhood, I didn't think that it was important to anything that we were doing right now. See, I completely agree that his lack of communication with us could potentially have put us back a few days on our task.
I wish that he had been honest with me back whenever we killed the Elder Dragon. Knowing now that he wasn't under persuasion from my magic and was just telling me things on his own. If he had been more upfront with me about everything from the beginning, I think we could have made our decisions a little bit cleaner.
Are you tired, Hamilton?
Maybe.
Would you like to ride in my book bag?
Oh, shit.
Oh, God, yes.
Your fish is still in there.
Damn.
Hamilton doesn't say anything. He just climbs up and gets in the backpack.
Yes! And Bartholomew sees Hamilton climb up in Topher's backpack, and he just smiles.
Hamilton leans down and says to Topher, sorry, I probably smell a little bit like gin.
It's okay, Hamilton. So we continue on to Bartholonude's house.